system, and the way that the stuff that the things in that faction look like reflects what that faction is about. You know, in Star Wars, the Empire was all about, you know, order and structure and sterility and totalitarianism. And, you know, all their stuff was gray, white, black, you know, made out of really simple spheres, hexagonal shapes, pyramids, triangles, you know, really basic primitives. Whereas the Rebel side, you know, everything looked completely different. You still had, you know, strong visual ideas, you know, like X's and stuff, but the fighters were all colorful and they're all worn and dirty and grungy, and all the machinery was hanging out, and, you know, they were supposed to be, you know, free and ragtag and, you know, diverse, and, you know, no one was the same species. You know, you had aliens and, you know, all that other sort of stuff, and it kind of reflected the two different ideals of the factions. So, you know, not being as clever as the people who came up with that stuff, you know, I knew that, you know, the idea, or a lot of the inspiration behind the Wing Commander stuff was, you know, World War II movies, The Battle of Britain, and you know, movies like Top Gun, you know, modern jet fighters. So I tried to adopt, you know, just a couple of aesthetics from that for the Confederation stuff.
The U.S. has to be the reason that Kilrathi are asymmetrical and the knife edges. Does that tell you?
Yeah, well, partly because we could. Knife edges because we didn't really have the polygon count to where we could actually do any sort of organic shapes. Actually, I remember in like Wing Commander 2, the Kilrathi look was kind of pretty well established, you know, by Wing Commander 2, you know, where you had like, you know, the red sort of jagged Klingon-y, you know, sort of symbology on the wings and stuff, and then the Jalfi had its curved wings, but curved wings, given the number of polycounts we had, was really hard to do. So yeah, I don't remember where the asymmetrical thing came from. I think it was just because we could do it, because we couldn't do it before with the you know, the voxel system. So I said, well, since we're going all the way around it anyway, and we have the full side, we may as well make it all asymmetrical. I'm sure I did horrible things to the low poly artists, like have been foisted on me since then by concept artists and people, where, you know, you want me to build this with 300 polygons, it's just not possible. But
don't need 300 polygons anymore. 300,000.
I know. Well, the technology's improved a bit over the last 20 years. I think my iPhone is more powerful than the computers we were doing development.
Wing Commander 4, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I know they have more RAM.
More RAM than I had hard drive space.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we had floppy disks.
45 of them on Strike Commander, remember?
God, was it?
I think it was 45 of them.
I remember it was a big deal every time we had to add a floppy, because it was like, it cost like another $1 per unit to add a floppy disk.
You just hit 4.9, I think we did.
Cool.
Hang on, I wasn't saying 4.9, let's see. I think we probably did actually.
So yeah, that was, you know, our basic idea for the, you know, the design, the Confederacy and the Kilrathi designs. You know, Kilrathi stuff was also, you know, pointy, daggery, weapony, you know, asymmetrical, kind of crude, feral, a little bit. If you've ever seen like those.
Eric, one thing we should do is you
crazy
you put down the side here.
African ceremonial daggers and throwing knives they have are kind of like that, where they're just blades sticking out all over the place. So, you know, it kind of.
4.9. Well done, everyone. And amazing, the website's only been up for like 20 minutes.
But it's not 5. Just kidding.
And even that wouldn't be 5.5.
I know, you know, just
put a dollar sign, actually?
Forget, did I put it, oh, yeah.
Oh.
Sure. Oh, that's a really pathetic dollar.
You know, they lost 10,000 since you said that.
I know, I'm sorry. Humor.
Yeah. Okay, just so everyone knows that in his college years, Eric Peterson was a failed stand-up comic. That's true.
That is true. And there's a reason for that. Apparently, you have to be funny.
Oh, great. Did yours? I guess one thing.
Glad the
I
website's
guess
there.
Wing 4 was more of the same.
Now that you just announced that everybody went there.
Well, Wing 4, it got a little bit confusing in that we had like the second human faction. So I think the thinking there was more like, it's like, well, the Confederacy is more advanced. They probably have factories they could make like whole ships, whereas the I don't even remember what the name was for the
Border Worlds.
The Border Worlds, right? Probably didn't have like, you know, a big Lockheed Martin factory. They had a bunch of little factories scattered around the world, so the ships were more modular. It's like, you know, this planet would make like the engine nacelle, and this planet would make, you know, the cockpit, and then you'd bring them all together. So they're kind of like more pod-like, you know.
So I always wondered that.
That's when we had, I guess Wing 3 is when we switched to Alias for our, you know, spline modeling for the ships, and backgrounds for the cinematics and Wing 3 and stuff like that.
So I've always wondered, this is an obscure one, but in Wing 3 and 4, whatever the company that made the ship is one of the artists. So are the ones that are from Douglas Aerospace ones you sketched, or is it just random?
Douglas Astrospace.
No, is it Astrospace?
Yeah, I think it was just random.
Okay, so
There might have been a couple that were. Maybe they did get changed into Aerospace.
Wing 3 and Wing 4.
But
I think it did.
Chris, can you please introduce yourself?
Aerospace is
No,
cool.
they didn't introduce them. You
I know,
weren't
but
paying
I would
attention.
like to be. No, I wasn't here. I was
Oh,
getting done.
okay.
I'm like Chris who? It's like it's not the same Chris that I saw about 10 minutes ago.
Lunch call coming
No.
in. Yes, David.
Yeah,
it's like PBS.
So not funny.
I'm Chris Douglas. I was, just a general artist at Origin for a while, starting in '91. Then I was the art director on Wing 3 and Wing 4.
We have
And,
Prophecy too?
Yeah. I didn't really get an official title on Prophecy. I started out as a production designer on Prophecy, and then I left Origin after I had actually designed a bunch, but certainly not all of the ships.
So then you
And so I
clearly
got.
took your title away.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind them taking. I don't care about them taking the title away. It's just I designed like most of the Confederation stuff in it, like the Vampire and all, and actually did the high-end model and Alias and everything, and I got a special thanks in the credits way down at the bottom. But
So for
that's
the
what you
record-
get. I left specifically because I knew that they had like a super short schedule and they were going to be crunching, you know, like crazy, and I'd been crunching for like 4 years, and I just wasn't going to be
we
able to
never
take
crunched
it.
any of our projects. What are you talking about?
Well, we didn't officially. I mean, we just worked a lot.
Just
There wasn't really anyone cracking the whip.
Everyone worked very hard to make Wing Commander 3 and definitely Wing Commander 4 because that was a ridiculously short schedule.
Yeah.
So.
But it wasn't like I don't remember it ever being, you know, mandated. You know, it's like everyone needs to work 12 hours a day,
No.
6 days a week. We were just all really into what we were doing because we were young and stupid and couldn't think of anything else to do. Had no lives, so we just stayed up there and worked on the game all the time. And but yeah, Prophecy was the first time where I think everyone felt really tired. You know, Chris had moved on to DA, and you know, we had a new producer, and the story, we weren't even quite sure what the story was going to be, and we knew that our budget was extremely small compared to what we were used to, and it felt kind of like, you know, going backward, you know, rather than going forward in a lot of ways, you know, from just as a creative person's perspective, and knowing that, you know, we just had this insane schedule, like 10 months or something, that we had to get it done in, that it was just going to be a death march, which apparently it was. So I don't mind at all the people who stuck around and survived the death march taking credit for doing that, because I didn't.
We have Chris D, Chris R. Do we not have another Chris as well?
Olivier.
Chris O.
Yeah. And on Wing Commander 3, there were like, well, probably none of the programs going. We seriously had like 5 or 6 people named Chris. It was a team of what, like 16 people, 20 people?
6 people called
And like
Chris.
5 or 6 were named Chris. Yeah, it was crazy. We
That
had
is
designers
crazy.
named Chris. We had a programmer named Chris. We had Chris Roberts.
Right.
So
I mean, we need some
we just sort of
names.
came to assume that you could figure out, depending on who it was coming, you know, who they were talking about. You know, if Dallas was down saying, "Have you seen Chris?" You know, we knew, well, he's probably not looking for me. He's looking for Chris Roberts. 9 times out of 10, it was Chris Roberts someone was looking for. It wasn't one of the other Chris's.
So I think you were actually the first Origin guy I ever saw posting on the internet, Usenet in like 1994.
What was I posting?
They all
Hey,
Mr.
Walker.
I get an extra.
Well, you might as well introduce yourself. The main age.
I know this guy.
Yeah.
Chris, how are you? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So you can speak to
you.
that camera there, but this is David Swafford,
Ah.
who is the longtime PR guru of Origin, and then later on was at NCSoft helping Richard out.
Yep.
And has been helping us out on Star Citizen and has helped do all the amazing press that we've had. And is also helping Richard out on Portalarium.
Still doing it, still working.
A bunch
it.
of Richard
Yeah.
and Dallas and Fred, the old Origin folks, who are now at Portalarium, are going to come by a little later on. But this is the man responsible for all our great press.
Hey everybody, good.
There you go.
Good to be here. Happy to be
There you
here.
go.
Fun times.
You guys want to sit around, like around the camera?
Hey Martin.
Hello, Dave.
Good to see you. Yeah.
I could move this into the spot between.
I don't know what happens next.
Bad over here. I don't want you moving off camera.
Really?
You sure? No. You guys should all be in a collection of the stars.
So, how are we?
Doing all right. We had lost the site for a little bit, but it's back now.
It is back. Okay. So,
Wouldn't be a day without sight.
do I need to ask some of our guests? Martin Davis has been waiting sort of for me to give him the thumbs up, so should I do that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, we were waiting, so.
Martin
And-
Davis?
And Fred?
Davies.
No, Fred. Mark Davis?
You had dinner.
Martin
VP
Davies,
Sales,
yes.
Origin, then he was a Digital Anvil.
Another Martin.
Oh,
He was
okay.
he was our president at Digital Anvil.
Yeah, very good.
There you have it.
How are you?
I'm alright.
Good.
I'm doing good.
What have you been up to?
We're streaming.
Huh? Good.
Well, I've been grinding out game art for the past 20 years. So, when did I leave Origin? 96.
I still
I've been
remember.
all over the place.
I still remember the multiple covers you drew for the gaming magazines back for Wing Commander 4.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Been there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I came in and I think we had Computer Gaming World, we had PC Gamer, and we had Computer Games or Strategy Plus used to be. I think I forgot where they were at that time, but you pulled together, you drew, you created 3
Right.
separate covers so everybody would have a different piece of cover art for their magazine.
Yeah, I
Pretty
remember that.
incredible. Yeah.
I haven't seen those in a long time, though. I don't even remember.
I still
what
got
did.
them. I still have
Really?
them at.
I'd like to see them.